Today we have Trish Appello here today. Thank you for coming again. And I just wanted to know if, just to start things off and to get people up to speed, in a nutshell, who's Trish Appello and what do you do?
What I did is when I turned around 55, I gave myself a Real Housewife tagline, I can thrive at 55. And I sort of dove into the independent film and television world. And now I am writing a script that is focusing on four women. Let's say it's post girls, but pre-Golden Girls. It's focusing on that 50 plus females and what they're doing. And there's so much change going on at that time in their lives, empty nesting, parenting their parents, uh, reconnecting with their mates after the kids have left. So there's a lot going on. And menopause, we're not going to whisper menopause anymore. We're going to say it out loud
Love that.
because yes, because it's a part of life and it's nothing, it's not to be whispered anymore or said behind your hand like that. So that's what I'm doing. It's a funny show. The script is 90% done. Pitch
Nice.
packet is 95% done. I am going for it. I am making it happen. I went back to school. I've worked on sets. Sorry, I got to plug my computer in, large and small. I'm learning this business from at 55. I'm an oldie but a newbie to the business.
What brought on this idea that, what was the inception of it? What inception point, I guess.
The inception point is two things of how I got into this career was I went to Sundance as a fan in
Mhm.
2014. And I then heard about a film festival that was in my next town. I started volunteering because I just loved everything about. I was a TV watcher. I was one of seven kids growing up. Mom needed that TV to keep us occupied as she made dinner every night. So we were big TV lovers, watching TV and film. So I just loved everything about the industry without being in the industry. And I just always felt I had an innate connection, whether it be behind the camera or in front of the camera or both. So back
Nice.
to me volunteering at the film festival. From there, I started acting in background because I was 45 minutes out of New York City.
Okay.
And there's a lot of filming going on in New York.
Yeah.
All those New York based like Mrs. Maisel, Billions, SVU, Law and Order SVU, I appeared on, and I was a recurring background in Cell Block D on Orange New Black for season six. A couple of,
Cool.
yeah, that was cool. That was very cool. They shot in Astoria. Sometimes they would shoot on top of the yard at the Queen's facility, that like a real jail, I mean, prison. It was cool. It was a very cool experience.
So what about film and TV draws you in?
Really good TV. I love really, really good TV. I can sit there and just lose myself in really good TV. And when I see really good acting,
Hmm.
oh gosh, I get like it's like I can get choked up when I see really good acting. So to learn about something that was near and dear to me to begin with was something I always wanted to do. But as someone who was raised in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, society wasn't really giving me that nod that I was to follow my dreams. It was my
Right.
nod was to go get a job with
Hmm.
good benefits
Yeah.
and then get married. And that's what I did. My careers, I had some jobs, but it wasn't a career. I didn't think this was attainable at 20.
Hmm.
And now I say I am living my life that I was too afraid to or didn't have the confidence to live in my 20s. And I'm living it in my 60s. And I'm loving every minute of it.
What changed? Why did you suddenly, you're like, it
Well,
was like a return to Saturn. You're like, I'm coming back.
kids were kind of flown and grown.
Yeah.
Um, my husband had a career. I stayed home. Then it was time for me to branch out, and it was like mommy's turn.
Hmm.
And volunteering at the film festival, working on independent sets, it's like 12-hour days. I'm like, I could do that, go to bed, get up and do it again. That's how much I
Mm,
loved it. And it's not easy. I mean,
no.
filmmaking and making a TV series is a lot of work and a lot of time, a lot of planning, but I loved every minute of it. And I was working like, in background, and then I was getting some commercials, and then I got an agent. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got an agent. I just went for it. And there was so many times when I had that, like, what are you doing?
Right.
What are you doing? Who do you think you are? That kind of like voice
Hmm.
in your head. And it was that voice was loud, but my confidence and my desire to move forward was louder.
Nice.
The FU50s, I'll tell you a funny story about the FU50s of like really where it came from. When I was 45, hitting 50, I started feeling a little bit more I'm standing in my power, so to speak. Like I felt like I can say no to people. I was like I could have before that I could have been like, gone to the Olympics for people pleasing. I probably would have medaled. But here I am now feeling different, and I didn't understand it. And I was speaking with my nurse practitioner, and she's a Long Island gal who has this Laverne DeFazio voice. And I said to her, Peg, what what's going on? I feel like I can say no. I don't care if people don't like me. And she's like, well, technically your estrogen is decreasing and your testosterone is becoming more prominent in your body. And I said, this is what it feels like to be a guy. This is effing great. But I said the full word. I won't say it here, but I said the full word in the confines of her examining room. I was feeling different. And then I would talk to my friends,
Hmm.
and they're like, I'm going through that too. And we realized that a lot of us are going through that. So it started out like in this noggin of mine. It has been a short story. It has been a 60-minute dramedy. When I was studying I went back to school at UCLA Extension for my independent film producing certificate. One of the classes I had to write it into a 60-minute dramedy. It has been a docu-series meets parody.
Hmm.
And all of those, I'm happy I did all of those because it helped me to land where it needs to be. And that's a 30-minute comedy that you would probably see on a streamer.
What changed because I saw that you had a proof of concept that you had already shot, guerrilla style, with a small team.
Right.
What was your evolution through that? Like, what did you learn through that?
Because you know what? I had this notion that I could like break Hollywood open and I'm going to show this new way to watch a TV show
Hmm.
with documentary versus parody. And honestly, it was more of a standalone short than it was a series.
Hmm.
And I didn't have the characters really fleshed out. I didn't have the conflict really fleshed out. And they're like, well, what type of show is it? I said, well, it's like post Girls, but pre-Golden Girls in that fabulous chaotic space of like 40 to the late 50s, menopausal women. And they're like, that's your show. Think about the shows you're comping. Girls, Sex and the City, Golden Girls, Desperate Housewives. What do they have all in common? They have that four woman, different characters who come together and are sharing a common narrative of what they're going through. And I said, I got to stop reinventing the wheel. And this
Hmm.
is also from feedback from people in the industry and make it a show that I can relate to and people can relate to and women of my age can relate to and women of I'm not sure if your age can relate to, but also we all know these women. They're either our moms, our aunts, our neighbors, our teachers, our grandmas, or our daughters, and we all know who these women are. And most likely, we're going to be these women if we're not yet
Right.
down the road. We're going to age into these women. And there's so much going on at this time that there's so much story to be told. And the FU50s is basically the core of it is shattering the invisible woman syndrome.
I love that.
You know, with the invisible woman syndrome of women of a certain age become invisible to the world because they're past their prime, as one newscaster said, and we're not past our prime. We have a lifetime of lived that brings us to a full circle, lessons we've learned. We have so much worth and so much to say and so much to share, and plus our buying power. I think I
Yeah.
sent you a quote from Forbes about like with 15 trillion in buying power, women over 50 are such an untapped resource. And I'm like, hello? I mean, I've worked in sales many years, and they were always like, where can we find an untapped resource? And we're like, we're right here. Hello, we're right here. We're over here. And I also doing this for my daughter
Hmm.
because I want her to find her voice sooner. I don't want my daughter or my nieces or all the daughters to find their voice at 50. You know, it's a pro women, but it's not an anti-male series or
Voice.
messaging. And the two can exist at the same time. But along with my daughter, I'm also creating it for my son so that he can create a path of equality for the women that are in his life.
I love that. Has he learned anything through watching you develop and execute
Yeah,
with?
they were both, my kids were both in my proof of concept. And it's funny, I did tell someone that I'm like, they're like, why are you doing this? And I told them the story, but I'm like, I also want my kids to think I'm cool. So he is receiving those messages that he's received them throughout his childhood, but they're really, let's just say they're really loud right now. Just pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, whatever gender you are, is a feat in itself.
Yeah.
So he's seeing that as well.
Would you
But go
keep
ahead.
going? Would you say you're still pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, or
I have to
it's like
push
every day?
every single day, because every time I am now, submitting to labs, am submitting to the script to look for grants, or just to be involved in unrepresented groups, women, especially women over 50, I would say is an unrepresented group.
Yeah.
Um, so I every day push myself out of my comfort zone, but I will tell you, it has gotten easier. It's where it was, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm just like, of course I'm doing it. And I'm going to even do it louder and better and bigger. And it feeds my soul.
I
I'm
love it.
enjoying every minute of it.
How has your community changed? For me, as I'm in my mid 40s now, so
Hmm.
my community is definitely it's something that I value more with each passing day, of the things that I just have easy access to the people that I have to learn from.
Hmm.
This is, this podcast for me is my way of challenging myself and putting
I love
myself out
that.
there. But how has your community have changed, and how much do you interact differently now that you're in this phase versus maybe previous ones?
I say it like this, and I hope this makes sense. Forrest Gump, in the film, Forrest ran, and he just ran and he ran and he ran and he ran. And then all of a sudden, Forrest stopped. I feel like I'm at the Forrest Gump stopping point. I
Right.
was been running to something, and now I don't feel the need to run. I feel I am being, I am doing, I am in it. And that's a change. It's kind of calmed me, mellowed me. because I don't feel I'm running to something. I feel I'm there. And now that I'm there, I'm going to foster this into the best it can be. Women, I love meeting women like yourself who are pushing themselves out of their comfort zone. I've met some other women podcasters as well, who are pushing themselves and doing it and just do it. That's one thing I've learned in the filmmaking. Like, how do I start? They say, just pick up a camera and do it.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I just am doing it. Yes, sometimes I'm like, oh, I can't believe I'm doing it, but I'm even past that point of I can't believe I'm doing it. I'm a filmmaker, I'm a creator. I am writing a pilot. I never wrote a script in my life. I had to learn how to write a script. It's as challenging as it sounds, it's extremely organic to me. It's extremely familiar to me for whatever reason. I don't know. It's where I'm supposed to be. That's all I can say is where I'm supposed to be.
I love that.
And I wish that for all us gals to get there, get where you want to get where you want to go. Say what you want to say and do what you want to do because if you love what you do, you will do what you love, or do what you love and you will love what you do.
Yeah. What you just said, like the key to starting is just to start. What did you start with? Like what was your first thing that you shot on or the first
Um,
thing you wrote?
the first thing I wrote was I gotta think because it was during like COVID times, so it was like I was in classes online. So it was a comedic story. I wrote it as a comedic story. And then from there, it was the 60-minute dramedy. And then from there, it went to the parody meets docuseries. And the reason why I did it with that is because I felt like what I was when I was in with my nurse practitioner, who was in my film as a panel member. There's a lot that us women don't know about menopause because
Right.
it was that whispered word. So let's put that edutainment portion into it and have I had a panel of women. My nurse practitioner, she became a doctor of nurse practitioning in her 60s. A family lawyer, she was on the panel. She started her practice in the late 30s, and my other friend got her degree in mental health at 48 and started her practice. So they were all living what we were, it was life imitating art or art imitating life. They were all living the exact thing what we were talking about, maybe starting a little later. Bloom, late blooming, but at least you bloom. That's what my mom
Yeah.
would always say, Trish, you're a late bloomer, but at least you bloom. I said, it's good to know. It's changed my life for the better. I'm happy.
I love that. If you don't mind, if or from your experience, because I'm in my conversations with my girlfriends right now, a lot of us are dealing with menopausal symptoms or perimenopausal symptoms, or what are we working with now? What is the most surprising symptom? For me, it's been like the hearing of the itchy ears, which now
Oh,
is giving me like so much anxiety every single time my ears itch. But is there any symptom that caught you off guard? You're like, this is part of this? Are you kidding
oh,
me?
Oh, well, we call it the menopause brain fog, where I say the words, nouns. My friend Kim, her gynecologist told her, well, you're going to lose your nouns. And we're like, lose our nouns. But I say this, it's like a carousel and it comes and it loops around. And I'm like, it's gonna come back. Oh, there it is. Oh, shoot, it goes out again. And it's what's that guy? What's that name? Remember that person? Remember that TV show with that guy? That's what but I wish I had a camera because I had my girlfriends from high school over, and that was a scene of us doing what's that guy? What's his name? He blonde hair, but then he got it cut short, and he was, or someone we went to high school with. Remember, they lived by the deli, and we can't recall the words, and it's menopause brain fog, and it's real. It's real.
Yeah.
And my kids might be like, "Ma, it's so and so," and I'm like, You don't understand. It either loops around or it's going to come back when I'm like about to go to sleep or in the shower. All of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, that's who it is.
That was
That's it.
it.
Yeah, the shower kind of just like pushes it out of your brain somehow. Yeah, so menopause brain fog, and that's one of the themes that we are going to explore. Uh, Parenting your parent, reconnecting with your spouse, uh, being the smartest woman in the room, but they have to go through everyone else too. They come to you and then land on what you suggested in the
In
first
the
place.
beginning.
Yep. And here's another thing as well I want to say. I am a very, very big fan of younger generations. I, my daughter, who's in her mid-20s, and my nieces, I am such big fans of them, and as well as my nieces in their 30s. I feel I learn from them and they learn from me. I don't want to do that. Oh, this generation is a bunch of thems, and this
Mm-mm.
generation is this. Let's stop the labeling. Let's support each other and learn from each other instead of trying to put each other down.
Hmm.
And so that is going to be a big portion of this series is us learning from the younger generation and the younger generation learning from us.
I think my favorite thing of watching my nieces as they grow, my nephews too, but specifically my nieces, just because the world is so different from, in the 80s and 90s when I was growing up and I was a young one. And so many times I was told to, you're too loud, be quiet. You're too, that's too brazen, whatever you said. And I love seeing the fire in, my nieces now that they're, 8 to 10 years old.
Hmm.
And while yes, you want to encourage the socially acceptable ways of, okay, we use our
Right,
inside voices,
right, right,
but I love the fire, and I really try to stay away from discouraging big dreams and big aspirations and big things because I can't tell the future. I don't know what you'll be able to do, and I would never want to nip that in the bud before you're even able to go down that path a little bit. Um, if you say you want to be an actor, great. Let's get you in acting courses, kid, or let's get you in theater. Let's do it. You say you want to start to surf, that's great. Let's do it. Let's go out into the beach. Um, is there anything that you wish that you could tell the younger generations as they're just starting out? As could be women centered, but it doesn't have to be.
I would say exactly what you said is I felt this was unattainable to me. Be it it just wasn't, it was like something far away. And I realized it wasn't fame I'm looking for. I love the behind the scenes collaboration. That's what I love. It's not fame. Um, so to your point, what you said about your nieces, and I was a shusher to my daughter because she was boop, 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 boop. Shh, shh, take down that. And let's stop doing that. Let's stop
Yeah.
doing that. There's ways to, yes, there's going to be like, we do have societal, parameters or what have you, but there's other ways that they can express themselves that you don't feel the need to shush them. Like let's show them, the inside voice versus the outside voice. Yes, it's a thing. Maybe it won't be a big thing back then, but to go for it. What you said, go to the theater class, go to the surfing class, do what you want. People limit themselves,
Hmm.
and I think that is wherever that limit comes from, be it from society, be it from themselves, be it from their family, be it from their friends, you got to push yourself through that limit and come the other side. And you will learn and feel so much when you come through the other side. Like I filmed the proof of concept, the parody versus the docu-series in my home, hired a cast, drove on the Long Island Expressway. I don't know if you're familiar with New York, which it goes into like right outside the city on Long Island City, picking up equipment in a U-Haul. I dressed my den to look like a boutique because what they were doing is it was pushing on the parity of that certain newscaster who said that a woman of 51 was past her prime.
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember that conversation. And I said, well, it's on the news, so I'm past my prime. I might as well go shop for my house coat. I don't know if you're familiar with a house coat. A house coat
Yeah.
was something that the nanas would wear that they could like go to the store, but it wasn't pajamas.
Hmm.
And they would dust and do light, and it was this like, well, I guess I got to go get my house coat. And I created a house coat boutique in my den. And then I had a screening with my friends and family. Like, they're like, who does that? I'm like, I do that. And that's the little girl who was shushed.
Hmm.
And I regret being not breaking the cycle earlier with my daughter because I shushed her too. And I could have done it better because she's wonderful. She's fabulous. And um, I love that I get to learn from her, and she loves that she gets to learn from me. I just, I, you know, I'm very, accepting of inclusion. Who am I to say you don't have rights or you have right? I mean, who am I? I'm just another person. So I'm
Right.
very, very accepting, and my daughter and my son were raised in that vein as well, and my husband also. So I think it's a show for everyone. I think it's a message for everyone. And I have an Instagram page that I post very pro-aging messaging, celebrating women, celebrating women in history. I call it the seasoned gals because I say that we're seasoned gals, we're seasoned to perfection, us 50 plus. And it's called the Season Gal Palooza, where I highlight a woman who is doing some incredible next chapter and pushing herself out of comfort zone. And there was some podcasts that I highlighted. My sister has become a Reiki healer and a sound healer in her
Cool.
50s. Yep. And she's found her next chapter. Another woman is doing pro-aging t-shirts.
Hmm.
So I highlighted her. Another woman is doing the tapping. I forgot the name.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
forget what that's
she's
called.
right, and she has started that in her next chapter. Some women, there's some podcasts that they're about women and this and I even wrote in to be on this podcast, and it was like there was having someone from Harvard. Someone from Harvard is going to be on my podcast, and I'm just like, what about the everyday gals? What
Yeah.
about the everyday gals? Let's celebrate the everyday gals who didn't go to Harvard.
Hmm.
And they are doing phenomenal, phenomenal things, and they're happy. That's
Yeah.
it. It's just about, there's another quote that is like, if you want to be happy, live your life like a 50-year-old woman. Um,
I like that.
there's a lot to be said. So it's more celebrating aging. And I write on this is important to me, that aging is a gift because not everyone receives that gift.
Couldn't agree more.
And some of the other themes, I wanted to just touch on this. Some of the
Yeah.
other themes are the beauty industry telling us aging is bad, erase those wrinkles, turn back the clock. That is messaging that is not great because it's giving that aging is bad. And I believe that that has been instilled in us since I was a kid, going back to the 60s of what a woman should be doing and what women should be looking like. And that messaging is there. We got to say something about that. And then how about women who decide not to have children?
Yeah.
Okay. Women who decide not to get married. Let's stop the shaming. No, you're doing it wrong. There's many ways to live. There's many ways to live your life. And nobody has what would I say? Well, nobody has their thumb on the pulse of what the perfect way to live their life is. So let's stop with that as well. So I wanted to address that in our series. One of the characters is a queer woman, and we have her moving up north because it's taking place like a hour north of the city. She grew up in the South, and no queer, she's tackling her prior queer shaming
Yeah.
because she was not accepted in her society where she lived. Let's stop the shaming and the labeling and the this and you're doing it wrong. No, you're doing it right, but they're doing it wrong. Let's just be a little bit more inclusive and accepting. We're all humans and we're all flawed.
Yep. We're all doing the best we can.
Yep.
I want to go back to your proof of concept for FU50s. You said you did all the post-production. Is there anything that you learned specifically during that process that you wish that maybe you would impart to somebody else who's starting out, or just something you just wish you knew?
Yeah, I mean, believe me, I learned a lot. No, and because that's how you learn. That's how you
Yeah.
learn this business. Are you a filmmaker yourself? Or do you?
Yeah, I've worked
Okay.
a little bit on mostly smaller and indie type projects, but yes.
Like the
Yeah,
gorilla with
a
like
lot of gorilla
changing the
style.
shirt. Like I wore that shirt in that scene. Now you can wear it with a sweater in that scene. Yeah, love that. It's the collaboration is fabulous. Yeah, of course there would be things that I would do differently. Contracts are your friend. I'll
Okay.
just say that. Contracts are your friend, and anyone who works on a film set should have a contract. I did do contracts, and I'm happy I did.
Awesome.
I've come across some that haven't, and it can really blow up in your face. This is a business. This is a lot that, it's a beautiful business. It can be not so beautiful at times, but it's a business and you have to treat it as a business. And it's a business that people are drawn to as well. So you got to be careful with navigating the big talkers, I'll say, and the real
Hmm.
deals. You have to kind of figure that out. And I've made some missteps in that. I'm no longer, I feel I've made some, because of my missteps, I've made some really good choices. But I had to make those missteps to get to the really good choices.
Yeah, I get that.
Recommendations from friends, people in the industry. That's really key.
What are your hopes for FU50s, maybe 6 months, a year, even 5 years from now?
I'm looking for a co-development deal with a
Okay.
production company. Together we can make the pilot, and then from there have it on one of the streamers. I like I like the kind of meaty comedies like Shrinking. Nobody Wants This. That
Oh, I love that show.
really that yes, that really that funny, flawed human comedy. That's what I see it as. I love I love when I can talk about my flaws and own it and realize I'm not perfect and lead with that. Because society also tells us we have to be perfect, and that's
Yeah.
just not attainable. So I hope to have a production deal, but it's like, I don't know how this is going to go, but I'm going to enjoy
The ride.
the ride, the journey is like the most overused word, but it's true. I am enjoying this journey. And I'm working with a woman who is coaching me, and she's like, nope, go back and you need more.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do surface, and she's like, nope, you go back. Your story is wonderful. Tell them your story.
Okay.
And when I did that, that opened up another level of wow. Sometimes we want to keep the story a little here because it's ours. She
Hmm.
goes, no, share it because your story is phenomenal. And I'm like, you're right. So again, partnering with the right people is key to this industry. And
Yeah.
working with the right people is absolute key. And then you can see it, some people who continually work with each other because on the big and small screens, and you know why? Because it works and because it's hard work.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of trust in this industry that you need. But I just also want to point out about small screen and big screens. And another thing that I have noticed, and I'm sure you have noticed as well, is the women we're seeing on our small and big screens. We're seeing Kathy Bates, 77 years old, who has the #1 new television series. We're seeing Jamie Lee Curtis win Best Actress, Supporting Actress. Michelle Yeoh, Angela Bassett, Demi Moore. I was there and I saw Demi's first portion of her career, and now I'm loving the second portion of her career even more. Um, we didn't see that as we're seeing now 25 years ago. I don't think that many of these women would have a career that they're having now because things are changing. People are seeing the value and the worth and the time that these women have put in, and they're knocking it out of the park. And I applaud each and every one of them.
Yeah, me
I
too.
love seeing them. I love seeing them on the screen. Back even like, gosh, who was it? Someone was playing like a superhero. Oh gosh, the English actress. It's going to come around again. Hold on, it will come up. Emma Thompson. I think she was playing. Oh, and gosh, another Kate Winslet
Yeah,
with the mayor of what the
Mare of
mayor.
Easttown.
Yes, these are fabulous, fabulous roles that are being written for fabulous, talented women.
Yeah,
And they're knocking it out of the park, and I love it.
me too.
It's it's sort of like we had a meeting, but we all didn't go to the meeting. And just organically, we all knew. Brooke Shields wrote a book about this, her being in her, I think, 50s and maybe 60. It's like we all had a meeting, but we didn't all go to the meeting, and we all just kind of organically knew this is our time.
Yeah,
Rise of the divine feminine, maybe
maybe.
maybe the universe was like, held the meeting. And
Patriarchy, you've done enough. Let's the ladies talk for a little bit.
exactly, exactly, because they have a lot to say. So, and they say it well. I'm even thinking like people are looking to the comfort of women, older women. We have a lot going on in the world. I won't go there, but that people are looking for comfort, and they may be finding it in an older woman who's on their screen, who they grew up with, so to
Yeah,
speak.
I think there's something to be said about, I mean, it's something that we've kind of lost, kind of throwing out the knowledge base from your older generation, from your senior generation, which
Mhm.
now as at least as I get older, I find myself asking more questions just because, my parents' generation, my mom, my aunts, like they have the knowledge. Like this is what we did. This is how we overcame this. You'll, you don't see it yet, but there is an end to this period, whatever it is, whether it's good or bad. So act accordingly. Be
Right,
appreciative, but also, just know like there is an end to this. Why? Because I've been there.
right.
And just things that we just didn't say when I was, or I didn't value it as much when I was in my
I
20s.
I didn't value it as either. And I definitely see my daughter and my nieces valuing the knowledge they're getting from their moms and their aunts. So it's maybe breaking through those, you're that generation, we're this generation stigma, and learn from each other and respect each other instead of like, how about the pitting of women against each other nonsense,
Yeah.
the cat fight, gross. Let's support instead of argue. Let's, let's be positive instead of negative.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. As we are wrapping up a little bit, if people want to find more information about you and the FU50s, where would they go? How would they get in touch?
Okay, my website is Trish Appello, TrishAppello @, and the FU50s is THEFFYOU 50S. I have my QR code. I made a QR code like that. I'm a boomer with tech, and I literally made a QR code. So if you have a website or something that
Yeah,
you can share it on, all right, I'll send it to you.
you can send it to
Uh,
me.
because that's the greatest thing, QR
Yeah.
codes. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can make one. I don't know how to do it again, but I did one.
That's all that
So
matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters. So yes, my Insta is where I am starting my social media. I started it. I have my niece is overseeing it, so that's
Nice.
wonderful. And she knows my voice, and I just love it. And it's really a pro-aging funny. I do some funny stuff. I should be doing more funny stuff, but I have to get a script done, a pitch packet done, and a pitch and a series Bible done. So right now I'm sort of finishing up that chapter and hopefully get more onto the social media. And you know what? I'm not an influencer. I'm an embracer. I'm embracing my next chapter and I'm just sharing the stories with everyone else and hopefully they're embracing their next chapter.
I
And
love
my
that.
my little tagline is live the F out of your next chapter. That's it. And her age is a superpower.
I love that.
So I appreciate you having me on, Michelle.
Thank
I hope
you.
you enjoyed this as much as I did.
I did. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Before I stop recording, I always finish these off with like a series of like four questions. They're really abstract. Like
Okay.
there is no right answer. There is no wrong answer. It's just my way of winding down the discussion.
Okay.
Um, so very, very open. Just what is your favorite word?
Oh gosh. Yeah, favorite word. Well, I do say something a lot and I can't it's menopause brain. It's gonna loop back in. It's on the carousel. You know what I did? I made up a word. It's called fabtastic. It's
Okay.
fabulous and fantastic together. So I use that often. Fabtastic.
I love that. What's your least favorite word?
Hate.
Yeah. What is your favorite sound?
There's a couple. There's some, there's something about hearing a lawnmower start on a Saturday morning reminds me of growing up. When I hear a lawnmower, like again, one of seven kids grew up in a Cape Cod that was 1,200 square feet with with 1.5 baths, five girls, two boys. So the lawnmower, yeah. And of course, like, hearing children, hearing babies, hearing children, and even like my dogs barking,
What's your least favorite sound?
a door slamming.
Ooh, oh, that's a good one. And my last question, what's your favorite indulgence? It could be travel, it could be sleep, it could be something you eat, it could be something you
Oh, God.
do.
I am going to say there's ice cream. But besides that is travel, because I am a part-time travel agent
Oh,
and
cool.
I absolutely love researching travel. Love it.
Ooh, I'm gonna keep
Yes.
you in mind next time I'm
Yes,
traveling.
please do. Please do. And everyone out there too.